So you had Joe Biden doing a online town hall with Anderson Cooper. This was a disaster. He asked Joe Biden about Medicare for all, and the guy just starts lying and lying and lying. Take a look.
Obviously, more than 3 million Americans have filed for unemployment benefits for the first time just last week because of the mass job layoffs. Many also lost their health insurance. Medicare for All would have prevented these kind of disruptions in healthcare coverage. Your plan would preserve employer-based healthcare. I'm wondering, in a case like this, is your plan better than Medicare for All?
Yes, number one, it would be available to everyone. And we provide, the plan I have provides an option, a Medicare option, a public option for Medicare. If you can't afford the health care you had, or you lose it because your employer, you're automatically covered if you'd qualify for Medicaid. And so you would be covered. It can get passed, and it's affordable. It costs a lot of money, but it doesn't cost $35 trillion over 10 years. It costs close to $1 billion. And so my point is that it's the quickest way to make sure we get covered.
First of all, he says that, oh, well, my plan is going to be available to everybody. Yeah, you know what's also available to everybody? Ferraris. Problem is, not everybody can afford Ferraris, all right? Not everybody is able to qualify for your healthcare plan. You disingenuous bastard, all right? So what he's not telling you is that he's means testing healthcare. He's trying to sugarcoat it. All right. He's saying, yes, of course it's available to all. It's stealing that term, trying to write off of the brand name Medicare for All, trying to make you think that, yes, everybody's going to be covered. Everybody's going to be fine. No, he's lying. So you have to qualify for Medicaid to be able to access his healthcare plan. This is such a disgusting, complicated, ridiculous proposal. Let me just show you one example. So he says, lies aside, I just got laid off. If Biden's plan was active right now, I'd be forced to choose between collecting unemployment insurance or getting health care, because if you have to, quote unquote, qualify for Medicaid to get on Biden's public option, then I wouldn't be able to get it. Anderson Cooper, he asked you, what do you do if you get laid off? Not only does Joe Biden not answer the question, he does not even say the word unemployment. He does not even mention laid off workers. Right now, in the middle of this pandemic, there's a ton of people out of work. Okay, unemployment is climbing. A lot of them don't have healthcare anymore because their healthcare was tied to their employer. Why is your plan better than Bernie Sanders, which would have these people saved in the current situation? And he can't answer the question because there is no answer, because Biden's plan screws you if you lose your job and your healthcare was tied to your employer. I mean, this whole notion that your healthcare is tied to your employer in the first place, it's like putting you on a leash. Come here. No, you can't leave. You're going to work here. So, of course, Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan would be a godsend, regardless whether you have people being laid off or not. But yes, especially in this current moment right now, if you're being laid off, you don't have to worry about losing your health care. Why would you? I mean, to me, I'm not American. To me, this concept is foreign. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. It shouldn't have to be this way in the richest country on earth. You remember how Pete Buttigieg and all of these clowns would say, like, look, Americans like the healthcare plans they have, okay? The unions love these plans that they negotiated. Don't take that away from them. Why are you trying to throw 150 million Americans off of healthcare? Are you a communist? I want to ask you something, man. Come here a second. All those people who like their healthcare plans, how are they liking them right now when they've been laid off? Huh? You were pushing for big programs like the Iraq War. Well, those costed trillions. So I'm glad to see you being fiscally responsible now. However, I really doubt that a healthcare program that is going to help all Americans would only cost $1 billion. I don't know what kind of crack this guy's smoking. It's probably not very good quality. I'm glad, though, for once, he admitted that Bernie Sanders' plan, yeah, it does cost $31 trillion over 10 years. Thank you for specifying. Thank you. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. It's hard for Joe Biden to tell the truth. I understand. But that's a very important point, because over 10 years, the status quo would cost $50 trillion. So clearly, for anyone who's capable of doing basic math, $31 trillion is cheaper than $50 trillion. Thank you very much. Class is dismissed. So according to the text of Biden's own plan, his plan estimates that his expansion of the Affordable Care Act would ensure more than an estimated 97% of Americans. 3% of the population is approximately 10 million. And of course, you're going to have people arguing with you now that, It might not be even 10 million. It might not even be 97% because of this. And that. No, you're not understanding. You're not listening. You're not understanding what we're trying to fucking tell you, you corporatist assholes. Even one fucking person who is denied healthcare is wrong. One person. One. Never mind 10 fucking million, you asshole. Get that through your fucking skull. There will be no compromise. This is non-negotiable. Okay? This is not something to commodify, you fucking capitalist pig. Fuck you. This shit pisses me off. How they try to gaslight you and say, oh, maybe the numbers are, the studies are. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Healthcare is a human right. End of story. Period. And of course, Anderson Cooper didn't ask Joe Biden about Tara Reade, right? He didn't ask him about these allegations of sexual assault because they can't do that, right? They can't do that to their establishment candidate, to the candidate they're trying to prop up. Here we go. This is Anderson Cooper. This guy never pushes back. He never asks tough questions. He just sits there staring at Biden, letting him lie on the air over and over. He didn't talk about Tara Reade. He didn't stand up for survivors. He didn't stand up for the unemployed. He didn't stand up for the working people. He didn't stand up for people without health care. Wonderful job. Thank you, Anderson, for this award-winning journalism. The reason Anderson Cooper is paid millions and millions of dollars a year to not be a journalist and not push back against Joe Biden's lies is because he's not there to be a journalist, and he's not there to push back against Joe Biden's lies. He is there to prop up Joe Biden. This is the mainstream media's job. It's propaganda. It's to brainwash you. There was also this question about why Obama and Biden didn't replenish their stockpiles of N95 masks, which is now hurting nurses and doctors because they don't have any protective gear.
There are other experts who did warn after 2009 that medical equipment like life masks, that the masks were depleted after the swine flu outbreak. Should the Obama administration have done more to replenish the supplies in preparation for future outbreaks?
Well, we spent a lot of time. I was not part of it. Our administration spent a lot of time working with the incoming Trump administration.
Two deflections. I was not part of it. And it's Trump's fault. This guy's blaming everybody but himself. This guy's a child. That's what he is. He's a child and a liar. You lying, dog-faced pony soldier. I was not part of it? What kind of bullshit is that? And then, we spent a lot of time working with the incoming Trump administration, so it's Trump's fault. No. Every time Joe Biden invokes Obama, he uses it to his benefit, to his credit, right? I was the vice president under the Obama administration, and we did this and we did that. However, every time there's a critique of Obama, the mass deportations, the drone strikes with 90% civilian death rate, the regime change wars, the lack of health care for people despite Obamacare, right? The bailouts for Wall Street, anything negative. Just like here, the lack of stockpiles for masks. All of a sudden, he was not part of it. No, he was not part of it. We're not talking about a stockpile of fucking napkins. We're talking about shit that nurses and doctors need to treat the ill, to treat the population. You reckless warmonger. You irresponsible, senile motherfucker. He just talks about it like, yeah, it's whatever. Oh, yeah, it's a stockpile of bubble gum. I don't know, man. I wasn't part of it. What do you mean you weren't part of it? You're the fucking vice president. This guy's a fucking serial liar. He lies about Nelson Mandela. He lies on stage during the debates. I never advocated to cut Social Security like Trump, like denying fucking reality. What do you mean 1 + 1 = 2? No, it equals 3. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. That's Joe Biden. I was not part of it. And we know that he lies to get ahead. All right. So he lied when he was running for president in 1987 and he had to drop out, right? Because of that. And also because he was plagiarizing speeches. He lies to get ahead, of course. And now he's doing the same thing again. He's lying about Tara Reade. This motherfucker doesn't even have the guts, doesn't have the fucking balls to address her claim. He has to send his fucking, some staffer, some press secretary. No. No one asked the fucking press secretary for comments. You are the motherfucking rapist who did that to her. Fuck you. Joe Biden, in true Biden fashion, he had a bunch of meltdowns And even Sean Hannity was posting them on Twitter. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joe Biden doesn't even have the nomination yet, and the GOP are getting ready. They're making fun of Biden's mental decline, his cognitive decline. So take a look at this. Biden, who has 6 grandchildren, says he has 5.
Every single day I speak to all 5 of my grandkids, either on the phone or I text with them.
Presenting that without commentary. Okay, let's move on to the next clip.
But there's a lot more. For example, I think there's more we're going to have to do as we go down the line here. But we're going to, for example, additional checks to families conditions should be required. But I think there's a minimum of. Anyway, I won't go into all that. Let me just deal with your specific.
I won't go into all that. It's not important. What do you mean? You're running for president. This is the man that they want to run against Trump. The Democrats can keep hiding Biden's mental decline as much as they want, but when it comes to the general, the GOP are not going to hold back. You can't hide Joe Biden's dementia when he's running in the general against Trump. That's not going to happen. But he's a piece of shit, so I don't feel sympathy for him. It's just like, what? Why? You have Bernie Sanders, who's older and sharper, who fights for the people. He's literally in the race now, in this moment in time in history. Wow, what a coincidence. You could pick him. No, let's go with the guy who has dementia, who's a rapist, who's a war criminal, who's a segregationist, who outsourced millions of jobs. Yeah, that seems like a viable choice. Fuck every single person supporting this piece of shit. You are basically supporting Trump. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Trump. No goddamn way is this guy beating Trump. It's not happening. Not even in a pandemic, not even in a recession. I don't think he's beating Trump. So there you go. Once again, Joe Biden doing what he does best, lying, of course, trying to portray his agenda as being better when it actually screws over Americans, lying about Bernie Sanders' agenda because it goes against the healthcare lobbyists, the healthcare industry who pay for his campaign. Then, of course, with his gaffes, I mean, this is just... Every way you look at it, this guy is a disaster.